Welcome to an interesting maths class. My name is Mrs. Adeolu Grace, the lead tutor of Learning Base Africa. Now in this class you'll be learning decimal numbers. Now what is a decimal number? A decimal number is any number that has a decimal point. So whenever you see a decimal point in a number, it is known as a decimal number. Now these are examples of decimal numbers. 23.4 is a decimal number. 0.2 is a decimal number. 1.5 is a decimal number. 6.89 is a decimal number. And we have lots of decimal numbers. We can also have 0.000487 as a decimal number. Now let's talk about fractions and decimals. There is a relationship between fractions and decimals. And there are some decimals that you should know. When you see their fractions, you should know their decimals. Now, 1 over 2, popularly known as half, is 0.5 in decimal. Just take note, anytime you see 1 over 2 or a whole number and half, you should know that that half is 0.5, or you call it 0.5, okay? So, if half is 0.5, what if I have 1 and half? So have it in mind and know it so that during examination you don't have to be dividing 1 by 2. Take note that 1 over 2 is always 0.5, okay? So what if you have one whole number, 1 over 2? That's a whole number and a decimal number. So that will be, the one whole number will be 1, then the decimal number, which is half, will be 0.5. It is that simple. So what if you also have 3 whole number 1 over 2? It will be 3.5. Now if you have 23 whole number 1 over 2, it will also be 23.5. Now what if you have 100 whole number 1 over 2? What will the answer be? Now I want you to write this down in your exercise book. Whatever you're going to see on the screen in this class, make sure you write them down in your exercise book. So what is 100 and half? What is 29 whole number 1 over 2? Write it down in decimal number. So that is how simple it is to change a fraction with half to a decimal number. The next one is 1 over 3. You should also know what 1 over 3 is. 1 over 3 is 0.33333. We call such decimals recurring decimals because they keep reoccurring. So when you have 0.33332 to infinity, we call this type of decimal a recurring decimal. But for 0.5, it is called a terminating decimal. A decimal that does not reoccur is called a terminating decimal. Now this is 0.333. We know how to divide. We know when we divide 1 by 3, we are going to get 0 because it is not possible for you to divide 1 by 3. Then you fix 0 beside 1, that gives you 10. 10 divided by 3 is 3. If you keep repeating the process, you will keep getting 3. So that is how to change a decimal number to, or to change a fraction to a decimal number. Now, what if you have one whole number 1 over 3? That is 1.333 up to infinity. If you have 11 whole number 1 over 3, that is 11.333 up to infinity. Okay, now look at the next one, which is 2 over 3. 2 over 3 means 2 times 1 over 3, and when you multiply 0.33333 by 2, you will have 0.66666. You know, 3 times 2 is 6. 3 plus 3 is 6. So that will be 0.66666. So 2 over 3 is multiplying 2 by 1 over 3. So that will be 0.666. Let's just stop at 3 decimal places. So if I have 2 whole number, 2 over 3, that will be 2.666 to 3 decimal places. If I have 7 whole number, 2 over 3, that will be 7.666 up to infinity. I hope that is clear. Make sure you're taking this down in your exercise book. Now the next one is 1 over 4. 1 over 4. Anytime you see 1 over 4, take note that it is 0.25. When you show your workings to divide 1 by 4, you're going to get 0.25. But there are some fractions whose decimals you should have in mind. So that's the purpose of this class. Now 1 over 4 is 0.25. Okay, so what if I have 3? Oh, okay, I'll come back to 3 over 4. I'll come back to 3 over 4. So now what if we have a whole number? What if we have 3 whole number 1 over 4? That is 3.1 over 4 is 0.25, so that will be 3.25. And if you also have 20 whole number 1 over 4, that is 20.25. Now look at the next one, which is 3 over 4. That is multiplying 3 by 1 over 4. In essence, since you're multiplying by 3, just multiply this by 3. That's 0.75. You know, 25 times 3 is 75. So 3 over 4 is 0.75. I know you can divide 3 by 4. But what I am saying in this case is that there are some fractions whose decimals you should know and have in mind, so that when you want to change bigger numbers, bigger fractions to decimals, it will be very easy for you to do. Now, if you have 3 over 4 as 0.25 or 0.75, 11 whole number 3 over 4 will be equal to 11.75. If you have 500 whole number 3 over 4, that will be 500.75. Now let's move to the next one. What is place value of decimals? In essence, we are talking about the position the decimal numbers are. Okay, now we have 34.825. What is the place value of each of these digits? So if you want to talk about the first digit after the decimal number, it starts with tenth. Okay, immediately after the decimal point, the first digit is tenth. It ends with th. The second digit will be hundredth. It ends with th also. Then the next one will be thousandth. Make sure you take note of the spelling. Numbers before the decimal point are whole numbers. So you have units for this, 4 units. This one you have tens. Keep going to the left hand side, but to the right of a decimal number, they are decimal numbers. Okay, tenth, hundredth, thousandth. So which other way can we write 8 tenths? You will say 8 over 10 or 0.8. So these are the 3 ways in which you can write this particular digit in this number. 8 tenths, 8 over 10, or 0.8. The next one, 200ths. That will be 2 over 100 or 0.02. The next one is 5,000ths. That is 5 over 1,000 or 0.005. Make sure you take note of this and jot them down because you will be having classwork. Okay, now let's move to the next concept in decimal. Changing fractions to decimals. Now changing these fractions to decimals, how do we do it? Now if you look at the denominators of the fractions, they are in powers of 10. Okay, they are in powers of 10 because they deal with only zeros. Okay, we have 10, we have 100, we have 1,000. Now 10 is 10 raised to power 1, 100 is 10 raised to power 2, and 1000 is 10 raised to power 3. Now when you have 3 over 10 and you want to change to decimal, it's very easy. Whenever you're dividing by a power of 10, count from the decimal point to the left. When you're dividing by a power of 10, count from the decimal point to the left. Now we don't have a decimal point. All the numerators are whole numbers. So introduce a decimal point on the right, okay? 10 has 1 0. Count to the left, 1, which means you have shifted the decimal point from this place to the new place. So our answer will be 0.3. So that will be 0.3. So to the left, you write 0. So that's 0.3. So 3 over 10 is 0.3. It has only 1 0. Now the next one is 14 over 10. Write 14. Introduce a decimal point to the right. Count 1 to the left. So let's count 1. So decimal point has been shifted to this new point. So our answer will be 1.4. 1.4. Take note. 1.4. The reason we introduced 0 in the first one was because there was no number to our left. So since there was no number to the left, we had to introduce a 0. Now look at the next one. 223 divided by 10. Introduce a decimal point because there is no decimal point. Then we are dividing, so count to the left. 10 has 1 0. Count once, 1. So the decimal point will be shifted here. So the answer is 22.3. That's 22.3. I hope it's interesting. Now look at the next one. 75 over 100. 100 has 2 zeros. So write out 75. Introduce a decimal point. Count 2 to the left. 1, 2. That's 0.75. So the answer is equal to 0.75. Okay. Now look at number 5. 123 divided by 100. Introduce a decimal point. Count to the left. 1, 2. Because 100 has 2 zeros. 1, 2. So decimal point has been shifted to this place. So that will be 1.23. So the answer is equal to 1.23. Now look at the next one. Dividing by 1000. 1000 has 3 zeros. Write down 92. Introduce a decimal point. Because we are dividing by powers of 10, count to the left. How many times? 1, 2, 3. It has 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So the decimal point has been shifted here. What happens to this empty space? The empty space you're seeing here will be filled with 0. Then to your left, there is no number. Introduce a 0. So the answer is equal to 0.092. So anytime you count, and while you're counting, you have empty spaces. Fill up the empty spaces with 0. Now, for instance, what if you have 3 over 10,000? Okay? What if you have 3 over 10,000? Write out 3. Introduce the decimal points. Count to the left. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your decimal points will be here. Fill up these empty spaces with 0. Okay? Then to your left, there should be a number. So introduce a 0. So which means the answer is 0.0003. 0003. So this is how to change fractions to decimal numbers. I hope you enjoyed this class. So go ahead and take the classwork. I'll see you some other time. Bye for now.